In 2026, Skool did something that quietly changed the entire community business landscape. They introduced the $9 hobby plan. For a lot of you watching, this looks like the perfect entry point. You can test an idea, build an audience, and host your course, all for less than the price of a Spotify subscription. And honestly, it is a great offer, but what most people never look at is how this pricing is engineered. Because there is a very specific mathematical point, a revenue ceiling, where this $9 plan stops saving you money and starts costing you profit. In this video, we're going to break down Skool's updated pricing model. We'll look at the transaction fees, the traffic limitations built into the entry plan, and most importantly, I'm going to show you how experienced affiliates are using this $9 tier as the gateway to build recurring monthly income without ever selling the $99 plan up front. Whether you're a creator trying to spend less or a marketer trying to earn more, you need to understand the math before you click subscribe. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about what that $9 actually buys you. And credit where credit is due, this is not a gutted version of the platform. Unlike many competitors that lock core functionality behind expensive tiers, the hobby plan gives you access to Skool's full operating system. You can build a community, you can host courses, you can run discussions, challenges, and gamification. In other words, you're not blocked from starting. You're not capped at 10 members, you're not limited to one product, you're not forced to upgrade just to launch. If you're just getting started, this is exactly what you want, a low-risk sandbox. The biggest mistake new creators make is burning hundreds of dollars on software before they've made their first sale. The hobby plan eliminates that problem. It removes the excuse of, "I can't afford to start." But Skool is still a business, and they're betting on one thing, that you will succeed. Because the moment you start gaining traction, the sandbox begins to feel small. There are two built-in limitations on this plan that you need to understand up front, not because they're bad, but because they explain exactly how Skool expects you to grow. Number one, the Solo Constraint. On the hobby plan, you get one administrator, you. No moderators, no assistants, no community manager. If your group grows, you remain the bottleneck, and the platform doesn't allow you to scale yourself out of daily operations. Number two, traffic ownership. On the Pro plan, your community is a closed environment. On the hobby plan, Skool reserves a portion of the sidebar for suggested communities. That means your members may see other groups, sometimes even similar ones, while inside your space. This is the trade-off of the entry tier. You're building on rented land, not owned real estate. And that distinction becomes very important as your community and your revenue begins to grow. Section 2, the gateway strategy for affiliates. Now, if you're an affiliate marketer or you plan to become one, this is where the conversation changes. At first glance, the $9 plan looks like bad news. You see a $99 commission turn into roughly $3.60, and most people assume that means less income. But that's looking at the problem from the wrong angle. In sales, the hardest part of any transaction isn't the upgrade, it's the first dollar. Convincing a stranger to spend $99 a month on a platform they've never touched requires trust, education, and often a long sales process. Convincing someone to spend $9, that's an impulse decision. That's the price of lunch. The friction disappears. This is what we call the gateway strategy. The goal was never to build income on a $3 commission. The goal was to get the user into the ecosystem. Once someone is inside the Skool sandbox, once they've uploaded content, invited members, and started building momentum, something important happens. They become invested. And those limitations we talked about earlier, the solo admin limit, the rented traffic, those aren't flaws, they're forcing functions. As soon as your referral experiences even modest success, they hit natural ceilings. And when they do, they don't cancel, they upgrade. Not because you sold them, but because their business requires it. When that upgrade happens, your commission doesn't inch up, it multiplies automatically. So don't look at the $9 plan as a pay cut, look at it for what it really is, the widest front door Skool has ever opened for creators and affiliates alike. Section 3. The invisible cost, the math. Now that you understand the strategy, we need to talk about the cost, because while the hobby plan is inexpensive to start, it becomes expensive to scale. Here's a basic rule of platform economics. When the monthly subscription is low, the transaction fee is usually higher. On the Pro plan, you pay the industry standard, about 3% per transaction. On the $9 hobby plan, Skool takes a flat 10% of every dollar you generate. That means the platform participates directly in your revenue. And at small numbers, that's fine. At scale, it adds up quickly. Let's walk through it. If you generate $1,000 in a month, hobby plan, $100 in fees, plus a $9 subscription, total cost $109. Pro plan, roughly $29 in fees, plus a $99 subscription, total cost $128. At roughly $1,400 per month, the math flips. The cheaper plan becomes the more expensive one. This is the financial anchor you need to remember. At that point, upgrading to Pro is no longer an expense, it's a savings decision. Many creators stay emotionally attached to the $9 price tag and never run the numbers. They scale to $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 a month and quietly give away hundreds in unnecessary fees. The hobby plan is for validation. The Pro plan is for graduation. So, is Skool worth it in 2026? The honest answer depends on your bank account and your stage of business. If you're at zero, you have an idea, but no audience, no product sales yet, and you're hesitating because of cost, start with the $9 hobby plan. Accept the limitations, factor in the transaction fee, and use it to get your first 10 customers. It is one of the cheapest and fastest sandboxes in the industry for proving whether your idea actually works. But if you are already a business, if you're generating revenue, or you care about owning your traffic, don't overthink it. Go straight to the Pro plan. The lower transaction fees save you money almost immediately. The clean sidebar protects your retention, and the added controls allow you to scale without friction. Remember this: start with validation. Aim for graduation. Don't step over dollars to pick up pennies. If you want to see the full feature breakdown I mentioned or start the 14-day trial, I've put the links below.